I enjoy playing many different games from a multitude of genres. I like shooters, I like platformers, and most certainly I love horror. In contrast, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of roguelikes. The idea of facing impossible odds with randomized gear in hope of making it to the end isn't appealing to me. I'm not so much a fan of getting a random assortment of items that sometimes can pair well together, or sometimes contradict themselves and make it more difficult to progress. Certain roguelikes, though, allow you to choose what gear and items you receive. This way, instead of dying from being cursed by RNGesus with terrible gear, it's the player's fault due to poor spacing, lack of awareness, arrogance. When I die, I can accept that I messed up. It's my fault for not paying attention. But I don't believe this is fair to a multitude of roguelikes and others, as a good game is defined by their unique game mechanics, regardless of what genre they're in or who they're trying to appeal to. I was out on a mandatory vacation, out visiting family, and my brother showed me a certain game he really enjoys. When I saw him playing it, I didn't question if it was a roguelike. I knew I wanted to play it. I knew I wanted to talk about it. Now I'm stuck here, with only one way out. White Knuckle, developed by Dark Machine Games, is described as, quote, a first-person roguelite speed climbing game. But I don't think that paints the whole picture. To me, White Knuckle is an addictive industrial horror roguelite speed climber, where you climb through thousands of meters of concrete, rusted metal, and dangerous fauna, while some incomprehensible mass is slowly rising to catch you. The goal of White Knuckle is to climb for the exit out of Substructure B-17 as fast as possible and escape the mass. Along the way, you'll encounter items and bugs which will either help you get out faster or mercilessly devour you. How far do you have to climb? God only knows. All that matters is that you keep climbing. Before we start climbing for our lives, we first take a crash course on how to navigate the substructure. We have the standard control scheme to start us off. WASD to move, shift makes us faster, space lets us jump over obstacles and gaps, and C or control to crouch. The main focus is climbing and mantling. Your left and right mouse buttons ready your left and right hands, respectively, for any edge or climbing hold you can grab onto. If an edge or hold is in range, you'll grab onto and be tethered to it until you let go. Grabbing onto the ledge, looking up, and moving forward lets us climb up to the ledge. You can climb with one hand or both for faster mantling. Remember, you can grab onto any edge or hold at any time, if within range. Hopefully that's not while you're falling, though. That said, you can ready your hands if you are falling and you'll just auto-grab to any climbable surface. It's not the end of the world if you fall. You can still save yourself and climb back up. Be wary, though, as you do have a stamina system. If you hold onto an edge for too long, your grip will start to loosen until it can't take any more stress. Your hands will start to turn red when they're being stressed, and will even make straining sounds when it's getting desperate. If things are getting tough, find a safe place to rest your weary, and probably very sweaty, palms until you're ready to go for more. Handholds and other climbable surfaces will appear randomly throughout the substructure, and will stand out with their red or orange hue. They act as a guide to where to go, as they'll appear in a sequence should they at all spawn. Dropping down, we find some extra text behind us, saying we can jump and reach pretty high, even mantling from down here. Climbing further along, we start to get used to the climb mechanics the game is known for, and move in both a vertical and horizontal sequence. Ahead, we learn about momentum, the reason why it's always a good idea to jump before beginning to climb any surface. This also segues into jumping whilst climbing. You can jump from a handhold to get a bit higher than normal, but it strains on your stamina, so be careful. There are a couple areas where you need to use momentum to get across a gap. In some cases, you don't have to use just the one path, but in others, you're forced to. After more climbing, we find some items close by. Items will be scarcely littered in certain areas. Most of the time they'll just be random, but some are consistent. You can store any item in your inventory or drop it in your respective hand. You can also add items to your pockets, allowing you to quickly switch between climbing and using items as needed. If you're carrying too much though, your inventory will flash red, notifying you you're starting to become over-encumbered. If you're encumbered, you'll start to slow down, and as expected, if you're too slow, you'll be taken. Food cans can restore your stamina, so if you have long climbs ahead or need to wait a bit while holding onto a ledge, it's better you might have one ready. Pythons are on-demand handholds that can be placed anywhere at any time, but they need to be hammered in place first, or they'll fall out after some time. 3 hits will keep it secure. Nice segue into the hammer, it's always in your inventory, and I'd recommend keeping it in your left pocket, as you won't be using it just for hammering in pythons. It's good to keep a python in your right pocket in case you just need a new handhold on the fly, but maybe it's better to have some beans on demand. That's up for you to decide, but you only have 2 pockets for 1 item each, so choose wisely. If you're lucky, you might find a shiny roach here too. These are the currency in White Knuckle, and they allow you to get upgrades and items at shops. If you're really lucky, you might find a silver roach worth a lot of roaches. Roaches worth nothing though until you bank them, so collect as many as you can hold and keep on the lookout for a place to bank them. Hammering through the planks, we meet a strange contamination hazard. This pool of mysterious liquid is harmful but not outright lethal, so try to stay out of it as much as possible. There's some rebars around which can be thrown like a javelin to create handholds from afar. If they hit at a shallow angle though, they'll ping off the wall and embed somewhere else. They also require a lot of force to throw, so be sure to throw them on solid ground. There's also some rope spears sometimes around, functioning the same as rebars, but with ropes attached to them. Naturally, we can't swing on them, but we can also climb them too. Rebars are too big to fit into our pockets, and probably for the better too. Throwing one while climbing will knock you off your hold. After swinging across, we get to the end and pass the test.
Thank you, Maintenance Worker, for completing the Substructure 17 Maintenance Traversal Exam. Congratulations!
Now, the real work begins. We start out in the silos, way down in deep storage. The first room is always the same, but after that, every room is both predetermined and completely random. Each room has a few intended routes. Some are consistent, while others are sometimes there, sometimes not. But it's up to you which you feel most comfortable taking. Many of the rooms here don't require much for the player, both in skill and resources. There are some paths that require a python or rebar, but you could easily just find a different route sometimes and not use an item at all. You could probably do that through the entire game even. Every room here ends with a vault hatch that closes automatically when it detects any movement. Try not to get caught in or below it though. In the substructure, don't expect to be alone with the mass and shiny roaches. There's some dangerous fauna here too. Take for instance the barnacles. Unlike in Half-Life, these guys can attach to walls and ceilings and shoot out a few sticky tendrils waiting for you to walk into them like a tripwire or grab them thinking it's a hold. Should you get caught in their snare, they'll pull you close and stab you with their needle-like growths. You can smash their tendrils out of the way or bash them outright to kill them, but this does take precious time, and the mass will not wait for you. After getting about 325-ish meters, we get to the break room, where we can cash in our shiny roaches and buy an item, or just rest for a few short seconds before getting back to it. We're still on the clock, so don't take too long. The next area is either the Shattered Chamber, filled with broken panels and dangerous mashers, or Air Exchange, with fast-spinning fans that'll rip your head clean off. The Shattered Chamber is notorious for its crusher rooms, but is a small bit better, if only a little bit harder, compared to deep storage. Air Exchange is the same, but for different reasons. In one particular room here, it switches between reduced and increased gravity by reversing the fans, which can be sometimes fun to traverse. We can also find the Blood Bug here. These annoying little bastards will fly at you and try and knock you off of a hold. They'll stay on your ass too, so be careful and bash them quickly. After climbing around 600 meters, we reach the ladder to the top of the silos, and we get a taste of music. It gives a triumphant suspense as we climb further up, knowing we've reached the end. After reaching the top, we notice this is a massive vault hatch. and thankfully, we can seal the mass inside it.
Pressure seal engaged. Door latches holding.
This gives us a little bit of time to breathe. There's usually some roaches scattered around the place and an item shop to cash them in. There's also some useless and broken machines upstairs, but what we need is a way out. Thankfully, there's an elevator out of this place.
Warning. Severe elevator malfunction detected.
This is not our exit, as we still have a long way to go. Mind you, the gameplay you've been watching here has been from the demo. The difference here from the main game is you don't get any assistance from the save machine, perks, upgrades, backups, nothing. And we still have pipeworks to go through, among many other layers of Substructure at 17. We can traverse every inch of the Substructure here in the demo, but the main game has the full experience. And there's a lot more of this game that I've yet to discover, along many different items, creatures, and depths I've yet to encounter. But I'll leave that up to you to find, should you dare to plunge into this dark industrial chasm. Just know, if you do, you'll have to climb out yourself.